everybody. Happy Friday. Happy Friday. If you're on here, get those likes up, y'all. Get those likes up. So as you can see, I did get my computer fixed. I was out of commission for a bit since my computer. It's kind of hard to do lives when you can't actually see what people are saying. So anyways, that's why I wanted to do this live. I was out for a week and I just got my computer back and I was like, let me just do a quick little live, touch base with you guys since it's been a while. Do you want to move the discussion? Yeah, guys, so if you're here, hit that like button. Hit that like button. Y'all, okay. Whew, just when I thought it couldn't get any weirder. Let me just say that. For those of you guys who are not familiar with the topic or the term vabbing, I think that's how you say it. To be fair, I just learned about myself, and it was so outlandish that I just had to cover it. And I was like, let me just stop. I'm in the middle of my chores. But I was like, let me just stop and cover this off real quick because you guys will not believe the nonsense that is being promoted. Let me say this. Why does it seem like the things that are being promoted are the things that never work? We want to talk about doing every single thing except that which works. Like, if you want to talk about how to have a successful relationship or how to attract a man, like the blueprint is actually out there. Like it is. Our great grandmothers knew this. For generations upon generations, it's pretty much been the same thing. Men are pretty simple when it comes to the request. But instead of us actually just focusing on that, instead of us actually like, okay, being the, for lack of a better term, feminine friendly, right? Or just, doing what history has shown has worked for centuries upon centuries, we want to try to find new innovative ways of promoting things that dudes aren't asking for. So I saw this trend. I'm going to bring it up because I think it's better to just hear it straight from the horse's mouth, if you will, or hear it from somebody who is more, I guess, technically in the field of dating market or in the dating market. I saw this video and I thought it was so weird, but nevertheless, this is a trend that is being promoted to women in particular who are seeking their ideal mate. So without further ado, I'm going to bring up this TikTok just so y'all get a sense of what vabbing is. Then we're going to get into it. He said, do I even want to tune into this discussion? This one I don't think is going to be too long, hopefully. Like I said, I'm gonna try to pull this off pretty quickly, but yeah, it's weird. I was like, no way, this is serious. But nevertheless, let me just play it and you guys can see exactly what I'm talking about. You guys also hit that like button, show support to the show. You can cash or Venmo. Hey, let me show you. You're gonna see yourself exactly what everybody's talking about. Let's see. There. Okay.
I was today years old when I found out.
Why behind using your vaginal fluids as perfume? Does it work? Is it sanitary? And should you try it? The term pheromone is derived from the Greek words pherin, meaning to transfer, and hormone, meaning to excite. Thus, pheromones transfer excitement. Now, pheromones are chemical molecules released to trigger hormonal changes and elicit behavioral responses from others. And these signaling molecules are used in bodily fluids such as vaginal secretions. And that is why you can use your vaginal fluids as a perfume to draw other people in. In the book, I suggest women put it on their wrists because we talk with our hands. And so we might create that waft. I did it today. And as a little fun fact and a thought starter, this notion that our bodies are smelly, gross, and need to be treated by commercial products in order to be acceptable is an idea that came about around the same time as consumerism. Now, prior to this, there was widespread knowledge that pheromones worked in transferring excitement, that pheromones worked in drawing people in. In the 19th century, men used to actually take their handkerchiefs that used to go in their suit pockets and put them under their armpits for an entire day. So it would become drenched in the smell, the natural smell of their pits. And then throughout the day, if they saw someone they fancied, they would take that same handkerchief that was soaked in their pheromones and wipe the sweat off someone's face or lightly dust a little stain on their collar. And by doing that, they would be transferring their pheromones to them, transferring that excitement and making that person drawn to them through their raw human scent.
I was today years old when I found
The
out.
why behind using your
Okay. I actually thought this was a joke. Well, the first time this idea came up, I thought it was like a joke. I was like, nah, this isn't real. I thought it was just somebody just like trolling. This is a thing. This is a thing. There's a lot to unpack there, so I wanted to just kind of play it once so you guys can get an idea of the whole concept. Now I'm going to replay it, but I'm going to break it down with my commentary because y'all. Let me just bring this up. How do I do this? Wait now. Let me see. Y'all. Okay, some of y'all are coming in here late, asking what vabbing is. You're going to see. We're going to break it down. I'm gonna play it again, and then you're going to get a sense of what this actually means. I think it's incredibly. If I'm just being honest, it's weird and nasty. But nevertheless, this is what's being promoted. And mind you, this is being promoted, y'all, vabbing, putting your vaginal fluid on your wrist or your ears as a way to attract men. That's being promoted. Not submission. Not knowing how to vacuum or knowing how to clean. Not even knowing how to cook a meal. You got women around here who would rather put vaginal fluid on their wrist or their ears or their body as a way to attract men than learn how to like vacuum and do dishes or learn how to make like a basic chicken dinner. Like call me weird or old school, that just doesn't make sense to me. I'm like, why do we have to go do all this weird extra stuff and don't want to focus on just the basics? I have yet to meet a man who is not at the very least impressed or at the very least doesn't appreciate a woman who knows how to make a good meal. I have yet to meet a man that is not a thing. Correct? Y'all correct me if I'm wrong. I don't pretend to be the expert on this. But I'm like, of every man that I have talked to, single, married, been married for decades, whatever, it's like, I've yet to meet a man that has ever said, I don't care if my lady can't cook. Now you have some dudes out there who, you know, they'll work with her or they'll be willing to compromise, or like she has a really, really crazy job or whatever. But I have never met a man that has said cooking is not attractive or cooking to me isn't a great attribute to have. Not once. Not once. Yeah, we're over here talking about women putting vaginal juice on their wrist to attract men. But we ain't talking about how to just cook a basic meal, a healthy, balanced meal. Yeah, y'all, let me continue. Let me continue. Okay. Like I said, I had to talk about this because I'm like, why are we promoting everything except that which works? This is not complicated. What the issue is that I think the things that work, a lot of us just don't want to do. A lot of women just don't want to do. I think, and instead of owning that and being like, you know what, I just don't want to do that, or I'm not willing to compete in that way, or I'm not willing to act in that way, we'd rather come up with all these like secret potion formulas, burn some sage, get some tarot cards, get BBL. Literally, you got one risking their life trying to get a certain look, like doing literally everything except that which works. What is that, y'all? What is it? Like, I don't understand. But I'm gonna play this again one more time for y'all who missed it. But I'm gonna break it down really quick, and then, you know, like I said, I wanted to keep this one chill, short. Let's play it again.
Your vaginal fluids as perfume. Does it work? Is it sanitary? And should you try it? The term pheromone is derived from the Greek words pheron, meaning to transfer, and hormone, meaning to excite. Thus, pheromones transfer excitement. Now, pheromones are chemical molecules released to trigger hormonal changes and elicit behavioral responses from others. And these signaling molecules are used in bodily fluids such as vaginal secretions. And that is why you can use your vaginal fluids as a perfume to draw other people in.
Y'all, just because you can do something doesn't mean that you have to do it. I mean, that's just my first thought. Look, I can go rob a bank. That doesn't mean that I should do it. So, I mean, to me, if the logic is, oh, well, you can use it as a perfume because it has some chemical that also exists in perfumes, does that mean I need to do it? Like, isn't COVID a thing? Like, how are we promoting this in a pandemic when COVID is still very much a real issue in certain parts of the nation? I'm like, just thinking about that. Like, how are we literally telling women to go around with vaginal fluid on their freaking face or body, and COVID is a thing? You got headline, like major news sources freaking out. Like, you can go outside with like a freaking mask on and walking 16 feet apart people. So it's like, we're over here so scared of this, of COVID, which is very much a real thing. And then at the same time saying, okay, but go make sure you wear vaginal fluids on your body. Like, I don't understand how this is a thing. In COVID, in a pandemic, mind you, like, to me, that is how COVID would get spread. You walk around with your JJ juice on you and you wafting your hands, talking to people, shaking hands. That is how COVID gets spread, in my humble opinion. Just my humble opinion. I'm not a doctor, so don't quote me on this. This is just Sade's opinion. That is how something would get spread, though. So like I said, just because you can do it doesn't mean you have to do it. Y'all, let me know what you think. I mean, what do you think? He said, I guess astrology and tarot cards. That's what I'm saying. We would rather walk across the globe. Like, I feel like there are women out here who would be willing to go through extreme measures versus do basic things. Like I said, you're promoting vabbing and not vacuuming. You're promoting vabbing in a pandemic, mind you, because like I said, certain areas it's still very real. Versus knowing how to create like a balanced chicken dinner, or if you're vegetarian, a balanced vegetarian meal, or if you're Southern, like a good Southern, fried chicken or some oxtails or whatever your thing is. Like, you're promoting this versus just like basic attributes that have always worked on the majority of men since the beginning of time. What is that old saying that goes? The way to a man's heart is through his stomach. Like, that is a real thing. So I'm like, why the need to do all of this extra? Then instead of just doing what actually works. Like, y'all, okay, let's continue. Let's continue because this is a short one. Okay.
In the book, I suggest women put it on their wrists because we talk with our hands, and so we might create that waft. I did it today.
I'm so sorry. That sounds, oh my God, that sounds disgusting. Oh, that sounds disgusting. She literally, that sounds disgusting, y'all. I can't. That's why I don't want to focus too much. I don't want to focus too long on this because I do legitimately think it's disgusting. But I had to talk about this because I'm like, somehow this is a thing. Somehow this is like a trend. And you actually have women who have gone on and been like, oh, I vabbed and this was my experience. If that's what you want to do, okay. But I'm like, I really think that there's more sanitary ways to go about attracting men, aka, again, no clean. Or how about just be nice? Seriously, like, being nice or knowing how to actually respect or honor men is like, that is a rarity today. That is rare. Men who, me and a woman who was just nice, who just actually likes what a man is about or likes who men are, doesn't see them as like some violent, brutish, always trying to take over women, always trying to grape women specimen, actually thinks that men have great qualities. That is a rarity. So if you are just nice as a woman today, you are going to have options. You're probably going to have options. And I know, I've heard some women say, oh, well, pretty privileged, yada, yada. Yeah, we do know that men are visual. Of course. But I'm saying, if you're an attractive woman or you are doing the best that you can to present yourself the best way that you can, and you're nice, Me personally, I think that's going to get a lot farther than having freaking vajayjay juice on your wrists. Am I wrong, guys? Am I tripping? Like, is this attractive to men? Is this idea attractive to men? Like, maybe I'm weird here. Maybe I'm way off base. But to me, I'm like, you could actually just be nice. Like, I think that would go so much farther. But we're gonna get to the end of this. Oh God, that visual just was so disgusting to me. This was so disgusting to me. Oh.
And as a little fun fact and a thought starter, this notion that our bodies are smelly, gross, and need to be treated by commercial products in order to be acceptable is an idea that came about around the same time as consumerism. Now, prior to this, there was widespread knowledge that pheromones worked in transferring excitement, that pheromones worked in drawing people in. In the 19th century, men used to actually take their handkerchiefs that used to go in their suit pockets and put them under their armpits for an entire day.
Okay, but before we even, sorry, this comment. My mama told me not to eat from everything. Oh, your mama was not lying, y'all. Oh my gosh, imagine eating food from a woman who was doing this practice. Who was a vabbing? I think it's vabbing. Oh God! Imagine. Oof. Okay, I'm not gonna go there. I'm not gonna go there. But let me just start here, because I know she starts with this whole idea that our bodies are smelly and something that needs to be clean. Started with consumerism decades ago. So she's using this as a way to kind of preface and say, "Hey, this notion is it's false." Because it was started by businesses who were essentially trying to promote their products, but it's not a truthful statement. Our bodies aren't actually really smelly or things that necessarily we need to hide our natural scent. There are aspects of our natural body that are very much enjoyable, pheromones. So that's essentially why that's why she's kind of setting that thing up where it's like, hey, perfumes, all this stuff it's a result of consumerism. It's not a result of our bodies actually being smelly. Here is my pushback. If you compare your average woman from like the 18 or 1900s, who was, for all intents and purposes, eating a natural organic diet. She was eating food that was from the ground, wasn't filled with all this, factory farm meats and high fructose corn syrup and pesticides and all these ingredients that no one can ever even can pronounce. That woman, her body odor, in my opinion, probably smelled different. Your average rank and file American woman today eating Cheetos and Doritos and Skittles, Pizza Hut and Domino's and chicken Alfredo, going in and out of McDonald's, chicken wings. That's not a comparison. The person over there binging out on some Domino's pizzas and chicken Alfredo, her body odor is not going to be the same as somebody back in the 1800s eating organic chicken. So we can't act like if your diet consists of Skittles and Pringles and Diet Coke and ice cream and peach cobbler and them little packaged pies you can get for like 60 cents at the grocery store, grocery outlet. If that is your diet, you're not smelling good. I'm sorry. Like if you are consistently eating junk food, you're eating packaged processed food, which is many people in America, the majority of people in America, a lot of women in America in particular, those of us against the poverty line, and you have to depend upon what you can get on sale at the grocery store. Some of people who live in food deserts where all you have is canned food. You got canned chili, canned tamales. You got that, like I said, full of like sodium and full of just sugar and corn syrup and high fructose corn syrup and modified starch. That stuff does not make you smell good. So that's what I'm saying. It's like, GMO, all that. We're not living in some natural environment anymore where our bodies are like in its natural habitat. A lot of the stuff that we eat, the stuff we put in our bodies, even the perfumes and environment is filled with a lot of nasty stuff. So I'm like, and then you combine that with the fact that your average American woman does not have a healthy diet. She's probably not smelling good. she's probably not smelling good. And that is not patriarchal. That to me, that's not like, oh, a result of some misogynistic conspiracy. It's like, if you are binge eating McDonald's every single day, that's your breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And you eat that in packaged food and microwave and DoorDash, you're not smelling good. I'm sorry. Your body is filled with toxins, and that toxins have to come out somewhere. So like I said, to me, that whole thing was just like, no, this is not a result of some conspiracy or some marketing campaign that companies wanted to start when actually our bodies smell good. I'm like, your average person, their natural body is not smelling good. And then you combine that with, like I said, all the toxins that are in this environment and our foods, you're not smelling good. So I don't know that I buy that, the idea that like, oh, actually, if we just stopped doing all of these soaps and perfumes or whatever, your body's gonna smell fine. No, it ain't. No, it ain't. And even if you look at her, she's a very petite woman. She probably eats very healthy and probably isn't consuming a lot of junk. So she probably does smell different. And that, like I said, I mean, I hate to go there, but it's true. Like what you eat, what you consume, how you sweat, like a lot of that does actually impact your body odor. When you cut out certain foods, when you cut out certain things, you're not going to have as strong as a body odor. But if you are eating packaged foods, you're bloated, you got acne all the time, digestional issues, you're lethargic, you can't hardly sleep, you lactose intolerant. You don't think you're going to smell, you don't think your body's that is full of all those toxins going to come out somewhere? Yeah, right. So let me just continue this and then we're going to wrap this up.
So it would become drenched in the smell, the natural smell of their pits. And then throughout the day, if they saw someone they fancied, they would take that same handkerchief that was soaked in their pheromones and wipe the sweat off someone's face, or lightly dust a little stain on their collar. And by doing that, they would be transferring their pheromones to them, transferring that excitement and making that person drawn to them through their raw human scent.
I was today years old when I found it.
Why?
So y'all heard it. She basically went back to say, back in the day, men used to use sweaty handkerchiefs as a way to try to attract women. I don't know how true that is, y'all. I've never heard of such a thing. But even if that is true, like I said, even if that is true, okay, this is just my theory. But even if that is true, it's like they probably were smelling a lot different because their food and everything around them in the environment, it didn't have nearly as much toxins as we have today. Not to mention, I'm like, look, you got old literatures and even old poems. And I mean, even the Bible itself speaks to like perfumes and different scents that people would use on their body. People, I mean, there's some nations I think that would actually like use perfumes and sell it as a way of trade or offer it as a way of gift. So it's like there has been centuries upon centuries of perfumes being out there. So I'm like, that's what I don't know if I buy the idea that like, oh no, perfumes that's just a result of consumerism, which is to me what it sounded like she was implying. Listen, and I'm like, I don't know if I believe that, because why have perfumes been around for thousands of years then, if the human body didn't need something to kind of help? So, y'all. I just thought this was weird, honestly. And I thought it was nasty. This is just me. If a woman wants to do it, that's on her. I won't be eating her food. And I wouldn't want to hug or shake her hand personally. No shade. It's just something I wouldn't want to do. But nevertheless, you won't have someone who's going to try it and they're going to see if it works for them. My personal opinion is that you don't have to go walking around with vagina juice on you. You can avoid that. You can be sanitary and still find somebody you love. You can be sanitary and still attract somebody. You know how? Just be nice. Take a shower and be nice. Me personally, I think that's going to go a lot farther. You're walking around with vaginal juice on your wrist or on your face. My personal opinion, but maybe I'm wrong. You guys, maybe I missed it. As I said before, it's so interesting to me how there is a promotion of everything, else except that which works. We'd rather talk about vabbing than submission. You'd rather talk about, vabbing or whatever than knowing how to cook a meal or knowing how to keep a house clean or at least have a basic sense of organization. All qualities that many men would actually find attractive. We'd rather fight against the patriarchy and try to change dating and gender norms and gender dynamics than actually know how to just be nice, know how to have a respectful conversation with a man and not try to compete with him. All things that I think would actually make a big difference in the dating and relationship market. But instead of that, we'd rather promote weird potions, weird vaginal potions, and all kind of weird stuff that is unnecessary and just unproductive, in my opinion. You said old Europe was perfume over bathing. Exactly. So like I said, yes, they use perfume over bathing. You're not smelling good if you're just walking around sweating. I don't care how organic and vegan you are. Like, you just walk around, your legs rubbing, like, it's just, no, I'm sorry. Like, So, yeah, I don't want to spend too much time on this because it is quite gross, I'm being honest. Nevertheless, I wanted to touch upon it because I saw it being a thing. And as I mentioned before, I think a more effective strategy is just take a bath, be nice, maybe learn to vacuum, maybe learn to clean, maybe learn how to make a nice meal or two. And believe it or not, some of those really classical, traditional gender roles still actually goes pretty far with men. My opinion. But literally, y'all, and this is, to me, this also reinforces some of those stereotypes that women out today can be kind of nasty with their home. And I know cleanliness. Some women out there think cleanliness is a result of patriarchy. I don't hold that. I think being clean, keeping yourself well kept, is not patriarchal. I think that's just self-respect. So you bathing every single day, showering every single day, maintaining all aspects of yourself, and not walking around with unwanted vaginal fluids, to me, is self-respect. That's patriarchal. Anyways, my thoughts, my concerns. Y'all let me know what you think. Hit the like button. Again, show support to the show. You can find me on Cash App or Venmo, Shay Sade. Also, be sure to be sure to stay tuned for some upcoming lives and collaborations I have. I got some exciting stuff. Thank you guys for tuning in this Friday, and I think that's what I got for the day. So we will talk later, y'all. Peace.